Hi there, welcome to episode 166 of the WaveBack Music Podcast. My name is Kris.
And I'm Matt.
And we're here to listen to the most interesting video game music there is, with no shirts on while running through the jungle.
I'm actually shirtless right now.
Contra, the arcade game, was fun, but it didn't really catch on. But when Konami ported it to the NES, it took the gaming world by storm and became an instant classic. How do you follow up a game like that? You make it super. Grab your vastly improved flamethrower, because tonight we listen to the music of Super C for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Oh, well, hi there, Matt.
What's up, Kris?
Nothing, just being manly and shirtless.
I haven't worn a bandana like this tight in years.
I got my blue pants on. You're wearing the reds?
Of course.
Excellent.
Let's do this. For what it's worth, I am shirtless, though.
Oh, okay. Now I'm sad this isn't a video podcast.
I mean, it can be.
I love Contra. I'm really glad you picked this. Contra's awesome.
Big fan.
Huge fan, especially of the first three games. First four if you count Operation C for Game Boy. First five. Hey, you know what? I'm a fan of a lot of Contra games.
I wanted to see how far you were going to go with that.
I'm less of
then
a
you count
fan.
this as 7. Oh, don't forget this, so 8.
There are some modern Contra games that don't grab me the way the classics did, but it was definitely a series of highs and lows. But man, the mainline Contra stuff, especially in the NES and Super NES era, was just so good.
Oh yeah,
love me a good Contra game. And this game's soundtrack is nuts, man. It's nuts for a number of reasons. So we should probably get to work, shall we?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right, Matt.
Yes, sir.
Hit us with some history.
Certainly. Super C was released in April 1990 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Based on an arcade game by the same-ish name, Super Contra, Super C acted as both a superior home port and a worthy successor to one of the most beloved NES games to date. In it, you play as a shirtless dude who runs through various environments, blasting alien robots to ultimately protect the Earth from the invading Red Falcon Force. It's a co-op classic and one of the best co-op action games ever released on the platform.
This game's music was originally composed by Kazuki Muraoka and Motoaki Furukawa for the arcade release and adapted for NES by Hidenori Maezawa and Yuichi Sakakura. Its music features a distinct Konami sound, but taken to the next level by incorporating actual orchestra hit samples, a feat that few NES games ever attempted. Maezawa's other works include Castlevania 3, Goonies 2, and Life Force, and Sakakura's other works include Ninja Turtles 3 for NES, Gyrus, and various entries in the Goemon series. So what's your personal history with Super C, Super Matt?
Contra was a big part of my childhood, and honestly, Contra is one of those games that I find is very synonymous with the Nintendo. I remember playing it at my cousin's and just thinking, I need a Nintendo so I can play just this. I don't care what else comes out for the system, I want this game. And then Super C came out, and I just thought, holy crap. Like, it's another Contra. And I didn't own it. I want to say I had a friend who had it, or I rented it from the video store or something. I played the heck out of it. I sucked at all these games. I'm just so bad at them. But I play them regardless. I will just die and get frustrated and continue and die, and I just love them so much. But Super C was I don't want to say as instrumental as, say, the original Contra, but it sits there in that childhood nostalgia for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think the magic of the original Contra is hard to overstate. Like, the amount of time that was put into playing that specific game, was kind of out of control. But I did also play a metric ton of Super C. After this one came out, I can't remember if I went back to this one more or less often than the original Contra. I just know it's a heck of a game. It improves so much of what the original game did. The visuals are better. The sound quality is just insane. This is one of those soundtracks that comes up, and like for a split second, I have to remember. Wait a minute. was this Super Nintendo, or is this from the Alien Wars? No, this is the NES game. No, it's definitely the NES game. But the sound quality is just ridiculous on this game's soundtrack. You know, being able to like walk up inclines was really cool. They improved the flamethrower. God, I hated the flamethrower in the first game. It was terrible.
Yeah.
A really slow-moving, twirly fireball, and this one is just like, here's this giant, massive flame cannon that's just gonna explode on impact and be awesome. So, good stuff. Yeah, I love this game's soundtrack. I love this game. So let's go ahead and give its music some listening.
Yes.
First track is called "Gates of Fort Firestorm." And it's some Contra music, if there ever was one. God, this game's... just thinking about this music ahead of time. So killer. All right, let's do it. Here's the Gates of Fort Firestorm. Enjoy. Well, if that don't make you want to shoot aliens, I don't know what does. That's Gates of Fort Firestorm, and you're already hearing those that very Konami snare drum and that sampled orchestra hit, which is like, it really elevates the song to a level that's just a little bit more intense than your average NES song. Like, it's pretty wild how well that works.
Yeah, I mean, it's... To your point at the beginning when you said that the most Contra, if ever was a Contra, it's such a Contra song, and I think like it's very, it's very much. I don't know if anything ever screamed Contra sonically, it's this. You know what I mean? If you've spent as much time playing the original as probably we have, and many others,
it's so complex. Like the whole cadence of the song is really wacky, like, and that's something that Contra songs do a lot really well. But like when you really listen to like the snare drum hits and like the way the whole cadence of the song is just really bananas. It kind of takes you off guard. It's good stuff.
No, it's really fantastic, but it's so intrinsically Contra. Like I can't keep saying how Contra this Contra song is.
Even though the game doesn't technically have Contra in the title.
It's making up for it.
It is? Yeah, it is.
I love it. I love the song.
All right, well, our next one is the first, I think this is the first overhead stage, right? So in the first game, you have those weird behind-the-character view stages, and this one they swapped it up by doing these top-down ones, and this is the Fort Firestorm Command Center, and it's just, they're all going to continue to be very Contra-y songs. So strap yourself in. Here is Fort Firestorm Command Center. Enjoy. Fort Firestorm Command Center. It's all pretty straightforward, and it's like, wow, this is a really straightforward Contra song. And then it gets to that weird bit at the end where it's just like, oh, were you bopping your head along to this? Because I'm going to screw up your entire sense of rhythm.
Enjoy. Yeah. Contra, right? Like
Yep.
I can't. There's not much to say. These are just these perfect, pieces of music that they go so like peanut butter and jelly with this game. I think I can't see one and not hear the other, and I can't hear one without seeing the other.
Yeah, they are very inextricably linked to this exact game. They're no other, like all the Konami NES games for the most part have this similar sound font, but
right.
It's so obvious which one's the Contra games because they just have
this
distinct style, and this is it. And what else is it? Is our next song, Tropics of Torture.
I love it. I love that name. I want like a metal record called the Tropics, like the Tropic of Cancer, or the Tropic of Torture.
Nice. Oh boy, it's another killer song. They're all killer songs, every single one. So here's Tropics of Torture. Enjoy. Yes, please. Sign me up for more of that.
I love that edge, bass, like that kind of I don't know. It's not distorted, but it almost is. That lead tone, it's just so good.
Yeah,
And then the way the percussions kind of I don't know, fool around with what it's just so good.
That orchestra hit again. Just
bringing
things up to that next level.
They
I'm just thinking about this. I was just thinking about how much I want to play this game.
I know.
It's really short. I could probably bang this out while we're doing this. If I could just reach my Nintendo, I could just go play this while we're doing the episode.
I think that's hysterical.
Yeah, this is another great one, and they're all great ones. They're all good ones, Pinky.
Narf.
So let's keep going. Let's move on to the jungle layer. I think this is the jungle stage's top view level, and it is freaking good. So let's give it a listen. Here's Jungle Lair. Enjoy. you go. That's the jungle there.
There's a great like pulse pounding tempo in there.
Yeah.
I gotta say, like, Konami's done wonders when it comes to making music, and they do a lot of similar things to what we just heard. And I mean, the more they do it, the more I love it. I think it's fantastic. I don't want to sound like I'm taking anything away from them. You know, that one sonically on a melody, a strictly melody front, is a little more simple than some of the other stuff that you hear from the soundtrack, but it more than makes up for it in the percussion section, I think.
Like, what is this song's time signature?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I feel like it goes for 7. 7 what? I don't know. Like, just, it's such an interesting piece of music. I love how bonkers it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Who does that?
All right, let's move on to our next track, which has another great name. You just Massacre Mountain.
That's the second album from the band.
It's the follow-up album.
Yeah.
This is I remember this one. This had the vertical stage. This was like this game's waterfall level. Ooh. Where if you're playing 2-player, so you're just gonna wind up killing each other a bunch.
Yeah.
There's no 30 lives code in this game. It's just 10. But yeah, here's Massacre Mountain. Enjoy. Oh my goodness, what a cool song.
Absolutely.
This one reminds me almost a little bit more of the like the Ninja Turtles game at first, but then like when it gets into that
I can hear that
part where the scales are going down like towards the end, it makes me feel a little bit more Contra. But just the fact that it's got those like scales going down when you're going up this mountainside with the boulders falling down, it's a really great juxtaposition between the gameplay and the music. It's masterful work.
I love that poignant like bump bump ba-dum, bump bump ba-dum.
Yeah.
It really like kind of the exclamation points on the piece. It's magnificent is the word.
Magnificent Massacre Mountain. All right, next one is called Jagger's Defense. I don't know what Jagger is, but it's got some killer defense.
I mean, in is it German or Austrian? Jager, Jaeger is hunter. So
that's what I would. I knew about that, but it very specifically has 2 G's, so I don't know if this is supposed to be some sort of Rolling Stones reference or if they just spelled it wrong. I don't know.
Both are totally plausible, and both of them could actually not be a thing at all.
Well, here's Jagger's Defense or Jaeger's Defense. We don't know, but it's awesome, so let's listen to it. Yes.
I love it. This is almost my favorite so far.
See, like I keep thinking about one that's coming up. So like
Right. By the way, I'm really surprised at how many of these I remember. Because I always think I did so poorly at these games that I never got far enough to hear a lot of these tracks. And I'm sure there's going to come a point where I go, yeah, I don't know this one.
No, I don't think so, because you only got one stage left. You got a stage, and then the other one's boss music, so you're good.
But I've never beaten this.
Are you sure? I feel confident that you have. If you've gotten to Jagger's defense, I feel confident that you finished this game.
Maybe, I don't know. I never...
It's pretty short, and if you ever owned a Game Genie, I mean, come on.
No, I never did, actually. I always kind of wanted one, but anyway, about this track, right? I think what I love the most about this track is that lead synth tone, it has a nice light reverb on it that gives it enough audio space, aural space to like kind of exist and float on top of it a bit, and I just think that's freaking wild for the NES. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
To be able to kind of create layers and depth, it's fantastic.
Yeah, these guys were really, really something at getting a lot out of the NES. I mean, you think about the Castlevania 3 soundtrack that used in Japan that used a whole separate chip just to make that work, but the North American version is absolutely no slouch because they translated so much of that to just work with the off-the-shelf system there. It was wild. And Konami was such masters. It's so weird thinking of where they are now as opposed to where they were then.
I know.
It's wild. Because they were, God, the 8 and 16-bit generations, man, when you think of like the crazy stuff they pulled off on the Genesis, I mean, in the Super Nintendo too, like, I think of like Rocket Knight Adventures on Genesis, the weird visual tricks they had going on in there, or Castlevania Dracula X for Super Nintendo, that's the first stage with the fire in the background. Just Konami, man, when they were at the top of their game, they were at the top of their game. And then like Symphony of the Night happened and Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation, but like halfway through the PlayStation generation, it just kind of like, I don't know
what happened.
Something just kind of slid off. They still pumped out some like really good games, but for it started getting slower around there, and then it just kind of dropped off almost entirely. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they got next. Right now, what we got next is the final stage of the game, Red Falcon. That jerk alien that keeps invading the Earth and looks suspiciously like the aliens from Aliens, but
hey,
wait, totally not copyright infringement.
No, we don't talk about that.
I don't do that. Well, here's Red Falcon for Super C. Enjoy. Oh, yes. Love that song.
What I love the most about it is that droning sound.
Yes.
That's used a lot in Metroid soundtracks or something similar. I love that sound. I want, like, a whole album of music made out of that. And then, you know, like, really cool drum beats. But, yeah, no, this is a really great track. This is really good boss music.
Yeah, it was not even the boss. This was the stage leading up to the boss, you know. And once you get there, then you get the other music. But this was like you get into the alien's lair, and it's all gross and pink and stuff, and it's all this is the business. This is the freaky business right here. Oh, I love it.
I think I know what I'm confusing this with. All right. Anyway, yeah. So gotcha. Right. No, definitely. I mean, again, it's Contra, man. Like,
yeah.
How do you go wrong with this? Anyway, you don't. Yeah, you just don't.
Well, next up we've got the mini boss music. So we got two left. We got mini boss and boss.
Yep.
So mini boss is up first. It's great. Again, you played this game, you know this song. So let's enjoy it. Here's mini boss from Super C.
I love everything about that.
There is not a single thing wrong with that song. And specifically, it reminds me of that first, like that little, it's on the cover art for the game too. It's this weird little walking tank thing. It's got the four big legs and it just kind of walks towards you and it's going back and forth and shooting those little balls that go up and down. Oh my God. This song very viscerally reminds me of that specific thing. But oh my God, just really hitting that orchestra hit, but so meticulous with the drums and like making. There was only so many sounds they could make the NES play at a time, and if you really listen, you can hear each sound cutting out so that the next one can come in on rhythm, and it is so meticulously designed. It sounds so much more complex than you would think a song coming out of the NES could be. Like the whole soundtrack has this like almost movie score sort of aspect to it, but also very video gamey in that it's, you know, it draws your attention because there's no dialogue being spoken. This song is masterpiece, only to be topped by I think the next song.
I really do like that some of those sounds do cut out. It gives it a very disjointed feeling, which I suppose for a mini boss is really good. I know you and I talk about it a lot when we talk about boss music, how a lot of tracks will throw you a little off kilter, just enough to kind of maybe shake you a little, get you off the game.
Yeah.
And I think that
like that's really disjointed sounding. That's it right there. And when I talk about one of my favorite examples of boss music doing that, the absolute favorite boss music ever is from another freaking Konami game. Rocket Knight Adventures on Genesis is the master of that with boss music.
There you go.
All right, boss battle. I freaking love this song. This is our last song we're going to listen to because we're out of songs for the game besides the ending music, which will be the credits. So this boss battle music is sick. It's so good. So here you go. Enjoy. It's so good. That first chunk too, you don't always hear that. Like a lot of times they'll get to a boss and it'll just come in at the he's like, the boss is here, it's gonna kill me. Oh, it's so freaking good.
I can't say anything. What am I going to say? What am I going to add to that?
It's a great follow-up to that mini-boss piece, too, right? Because the mini-boss one is like, it's more intense than most of the stage music. It's a very different kind of rhythm, but it's, you know, a little bit disjointed, but it's like, this boss battle one is like that. It's escalated from that. It's such a great way to design music for a game where you can clearly denote, okay, this boss just showed up, but that's a mini boss. I can tell because I fought a boss and I know what that music is, and that's not it.
There you go.
Yeah, just wonderful. Well, great pick, Matt. Super C for NES, freaking phenomenal game. It's tragically short, but you know, I'd rather it be short and great than long and horrible.
That's my life's mantra, actually.
Love it. Oh, boy. Well, that's our show. Join us next time when we'll be keeping up with October tradition by hitting the next chronological Castlevania game. Yes, we're sticking with Konami, and this year we've landed on Castlevania Rondo of Blood for the PC Engine Super CD-ROM. So, boy, oh boy, I like this soundtrack a lot. It's interesting for me because I didn't play this until way later, obviously, because I live in America. So I played Castlevania Dracula X on Super Nintendo, so I'm intimately familiar with this game's soundtrack, just not this specific version of it, which I didn't play this game through until way later. But it's got some killer music.
You know, I'm not too familiar with it, but I know bits and pieces of it. I'm very excited. I mean, again, like Contra, it's Castlevania.
Yeah, and this is often lauded as one of the best in the series. I don't know how I feel about that. It's quite a game. It really, really is. So I am excited to listen to its music, and it's a great way to get us in the spooky October spirit. And yes, we will be doing a spooky special as well. Our Spooky Special 9 will be coming up just a few weeks later as a special extra episode in October. So we'll burn that bridge. We'll burn that bridge when we get there. But right now, we here at the WaveBack Podcast are incredibly grateful to everyone who listens, and we love communicating with you when we can. We have a couple of ways you can do that. There's the Geekade Discord channel, in which we have a WaveBack chat, where we frequently discuss all manner of stuff related to video game music and whenever our next episodes are going to be. Of course, you can always still send us an email at mail@geekade.com, and while you're at it, check all our social media channels, which you should totally follow, like, and subscribe to if you haven't already. WaveBack and other Geekade podcasts are made possible thanks to the Geekade Patreon page. There, patrons can get access to a monthly podcast schedule, topic and recording schedule, get early access to most of Geekade's shows, including this one and more. And if you've enjoyed our podcast over the years, please follow the link in the description and give it a look. We really appreciate it. Finally, as always, be sure to check out all the other great content we have on our site over at geekade.com. And so, yeah, we're going to leave you with the ending theme, because that's what we do. It's delightful. It's appropriate. Things explode, and then you get some very triumphant music and move on with your life until the Alien Wars, until Contra 3: The Alien Wars, my personal favorite Contra game. Ah, boy. Contra NES. I don't really like the arcade games. They're fine, but I don't really like them. Contra NES, Super C, Operation C for Game Boy, Contra 3: The Alien Wars on Super NES, Contra 4 for DS, and Contra Rebirth on WiiWare. Those are my Contra games. I like other ones too. I don't dislike the other ones, but those are my Contra games. Those 7 games are where it's at.
That's a lot of Contra. I honestly don't think I played that many Contra games. I don't know that I knew a lot of those existed, actually.
Oh, there's so many more. There's like Neo Contra and Legacy of War, and they're... Oh, God, Legacy of War is so bad. Legacy of War was terrible. We just covered that on the Stone Age Gamer podcast because I had never played it before. I always heard it was bad, but I was like, how bad could it really be? It is awful. And for some reason, they still followed through with porting it to Saturn. Oh, God, it was bad. Terrible, terrible game. Putrid experience.
That's fun. Putrid experience.
Anyway, here's the ending music. Thank you very much for listening, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Blow up those aliens.